I'm Ree Drummond. I live on a ranch in the middle of nowhere, and all my recipes have to be approved by cowboys, hungry kids, and me. Here's what's happening on the ranch. I'm cooking up some food for a meeting at the mercantile we're opening. It's a great opportunity to tweak some recipes and have my friends help me pick which versions will make it onto the menu. Basic chicken salad with grapes is facing off against a delicious curried version with raisins. I'm testing 2 takes on quiche. Brie and broccoli goes head-to-head with corned beef and cabbage. Then it's bread pudding with boozy cream sauce. Plain and perfect versus an amped-up fancy version. It's decisions, decisions. May the tastiest recipes win. Welcome to my frontier. It's been a long time coming, but our mercantile project is finally going to launch this fall. In addition to a general store, we're also going to have a restaurant, so I've been spending lots of time thinking about the food. Today, I'm having a meeting with my mercantile friends, and I thought it'd be fun to whip up 2 versions of a few of my favorite dishes and see which ones they think are mercantile worthy. I've been chopping up some celery. I'm going to make chicken salad 2 ways, and I'm starting with the base recipe. I am a little bit picky about chicken salad. I don't like big chunks of celery, so I chop it really fine. I've also got some green onions, also known as scallions, and I'm just slicing off the white and green parts, and I'm going really thin. I have 2 bowls of cooked chicken. I roasted 2 whole chickens at 400, drizzled them with olive oil first, sprinkled them with salt, and then I removed the skin, picked the meat off the bones, and gave it a chop. All right, those are the basic chicken and veggie components. Now I'll start with the basic dressing. Cup of mayo is first, and some Greek yogurt. Of course, I've got to add some cream, about 1/2 cup or so. I'll add the same amount of milk. I also have some vinegar, so I'm just adding a splash. And then salt and pepper. And I'll mix this together. The base dressing looks just right. I'll grab another pitcher. I need to pour 1/2 of this off so I can make 2 completely different dressings. 1/2, give or take. I'll set this over here for later, but now I'm going to make my basic chicken salad with grapes. The only thing I do to the dressing is just add a heaping tablespoon of brown sugar. I'll stir it in. The brown sugar doesn't make the dressing overly sweet, especially since there's a little bit of vinegar in there. It's just the perfect balance. Now, I want the basic chicken salad to be nice and herby, so I have fresh dill. Dill is so gorgeous. This is all mixed together, so I'll pour this right over the basic bowl of chicken and veggies. Just the right amount. And now I'll start having some grapes. All right, it's time for a building update. Let me tell you how things are going. The Merc, as we've been calling it, is our project in Pawhuska, and after a few years of simmering, everything is finally moving forward full speed. We've added a whole new section upstairs, which means the crew is adding steel beams to shore the floor up. In just a few months, the space will have a restaurant serving breakfast, lunch, coffee, pastries, and take-home meals. And there'll be a general store stocked with the products my friends and I have been shopping for. It looks like a construction zone right now, but all the fixtures and furniture are underway, and we're planning the layout so it's all on track for a fall opening. We cannot wait, but there is still so much to do. Got the grapes almost all halved. You can do a mix of purple and green grapes too. That's always a pretty combination. Now all of these halved grapes go into the bowl with the other ingredients. Now I also like the chicken salad to have a little crunch, so I have some slivered almonds, and I'll sprinkle over 1/2. I'm going to use the other 1/2 for version 2. There's so many different ways you can change up chicken salad. You can add hot sauce, any kind of herb or spice that you like. Really, anything goes. Okie doke, basic chicken salad is all set, so I'll move on to version 2, curried chicken salad. I've got the rest of the basic dressing, and I'm going to doctor it up with all sorts of flavor. A big tablespoon of curry powder, some sriracha, probably about a tablespoon or so, some sugar, and I'll grab a spoon and stir this up. This curry dressing is unmistakably different from the basic version. It turns a nice deep golden color, and boy, does it taste different. Anyone who's a curry fan out there knows exactly what I'm saying. I'll pour it over the second bowl of chicken and veggies. I'll give you a little tip. This makes a glorious veggie dip too, or a pasta salad dressing. I'm going to stop there and see how that goes. Now, instead of grapes to this chicken salad, I'm adding golden raisins. The slivered almonds add a great crunch, and just one more ingredient, some cilantro, and then I will stir this beautiful mixture together. When I set up the taste test this afternoon, I'm going to put all the different versions of everything in ramekins. I have got to give this a taste. It's for the Merc. It's not for me. So good. Definitely my favorite. Don't tell my friends, we'll see what they come up with, but I'm pretty sure this one's gonna be the winner. Up next, it's quiche two ways with brie and broccoli and corned beef and cabbage. Then bread pudding gets the twofer treatment. Will plain and perfect beat fancy and fabulous? All will be revealed very soon. I'm testing some yummy recipes for our upcoming mercantile restaurant, and I'm going to take them to my friends in town for our meeting. I'm going to have them test and pick their very favorites. I think quiche is one of the best foods you can make, and I'm making two new versions, one with brie and broccoli and the other with corned beef and cabbage. And speaking of cabbage, I'm getting it right into a skillet. I just shredded a half a head of cabbage really fine, and I'm going to saute it in some butter just to wilt it. To give it some interesting flavor, I'll sprinkle on some caraway seeds, and then I'll stir it around the pan just to start the cooking process. Now for the brie and broccoli quiche, I've been blanching some broccoli florets, and I'm just gonna take them out of the hot water and put them right into ice water to shock them and stop them from cooking. I don't want them to get too tender because they need to hold together while the quiche bakes. That's all the broccoli. Now I'll just move it around the ice water until it's totally cool. Quiche is a lifelong love for me. I don't think I have ever eaten a quiche that I didn't like. And I've even gotten Lad to try quiche. Call the press, it's true. A cowboy ate quiche. I'm just patting the broccoli dry, and I'll bring it over to the cutting board. I just want to get it broken up. It doesn't need to be totally chopped. Okay, broccoli's ready. Now I'm going to whip up the egg mixture, which of course is the essential component of any quiche. I have a whole bunch of eggs, and I'll pour in a whole bunch of half and half. I like quiche that is very, very rich when it comes to the egg mixture. I didn't quite know which direction to go with the new quiches to try, so I just kind of committed and went with it with these two ideas. Okay, that's all mixed, so I'll set that over here for now. I want the cabbage to cool down before it goes into the crust, so I'll pour it onto a plate. And while that cools down, I'll cut up some brie cheese. How good is brie gonna be in a quiche? I don't think I've ever had it before. I'm gonna keep the pieces pretty big. I'm doing slices, and then I'll just cut each slice into half or thirds, depending on how big it is. And I am one of those people that leaves the rind on brie. I don't know if you do or not. I just think it's delicious. It's part of the whole brie experience. This is the perfect pie crust that I've made for years and years. You can find it online. Super easy to make and really flaky. The first thing I'm adding to the bottom of the crust are caramelized onions. I cooked these for about 20 minutes with butter. These are going to add amazing flavor to the quiche. And next come all the other ingredients. The broccoli, just sprinkle that in. I want to get all these little pieces of florets so they'll float in the egg mixture. And then all the little chunks of brie. This is a very experimental part of the quiche. I'm not sure how these are going to bake up, but I'm going to find out. I love testing recipes, because even if you make a mistake, it's usually a delicious mistake. I've also got some chives. Gosh, there's hardly any room in the pan for the egg mixture, but I've got to add it. I'm just going to add half because I need the other half for the second quiche. I'm going to stop short of the top because I don't want it to overflow as it bakes. That looks just right. Now I'll build the other quiche, the corned beef and cabbage version. Now I've got the cabbage and it goes into the bottom of the crust. And now the corned beef. This is just deli corned beef that I had sliced. This is going to make the whole mixture so deliciously savory and salty. I think that is probably enough. Now for the egg mixture, I'm going to tweak it just a little bit and add some Dijon mustard just to give it a totally different flavor. Great big tablespoon ought to do. Whisk it around. I'm so excited about our meeting and our food testing. I'm meeting with Hyacinth, my BFF, Missy, my sister-in-law, who's also my BFF, Haley, a good family friend who helps me with a lot of different things, and Mallory, who is Hyacinth's new daughter-in-law-to-be. Okay, now I'll pour this mixture over the corned beef and cabbage. It's gonna be really interesting and really tasty. I can't wait to see what the girls pick as their favorites. I'm gonna cover them with foil and bake them at 400 degrees for about 45 minutes. Then I'll take the foil off and let them go for another 10 to 15. Oh, these are gonna be glorious. Up next, delicious bread pudding with boozy cream sauce. But will plain and perfect beat a fancy version? Okay, girls, are we ready to vote? I'm putting everything to the test with my friends. We'll be opening our mercantile and restaurant before you know it, so I never pass up an opportunity to test out recipes that we're going to serve. I'm having a meeting with my good friends, and I thought I'd use that opportunity to have them taste test some delights, some contenders for the deli. I've just been slicing up some bread because I'm making two different versions of bread pudding. One is plain and perfect, the other one is fancy and adorned, and I can't wait to dive in and see what the girls think. I have two different kinds of bread that I've been cutting into cubes. For the plain and perfect bread pudding, I'm using sourdough. Sourdough is the kind of bread my mother-in-law Nan uses when she makes bread pudding. It is tremendously delicious. It doesn't get soggy, it really keeps its shape, but it absorbs all the flavor of the bread pudding. So I'm going to start with that one. Now for the custard. Both bread puddings use the same custard base, and it starts with 5 cups of milk, 4 eggs, a good healthy splash of vanilla. And then for the sweetness, I use 2 cups of sugar. These 2-cup measures are so handy. And a cup of brown sugar. I'm really going to pack it in there. I love the combination of regular and brown sugar. I'll start to stir it so the eggs are broken up. The last ingredient for the custard, melted butter. It's not too much, but it's going to add amazing richness to it. And I'll stir it in. I've been spending a lot of time thinking about the desserts that we're going to serve at the Mercantile restaurant. We're not going to have very many fancy layer cakes or really elegant desserts. I'm going to bring it down to home and have things like bread pudding, chocolate sheet cake, blackberry cobbler, all the things that me and my family love. All right, the custard is all mixed together. So half of it goes into the plain and perfect pan with the sourdough. You can see those little solidified bits of butter. That is a very good thing. And when this bakes, the custard's going to keep soaking into all the bread. Oh. And now the fancy bread pudding. I am really excited about this one. I'm using challah bread, which is a lot softer. It's going to be a completely different bread pudding experience, and that's really what I wanted. I want to find just the right recipe. Now I'm going to doctor up the custard for the fancy bread pudding. I've got some whiskey, and it goes right in. I'm really going to spike it too, so don't look. And I'm going to sprinkle in a little cinnamon. This is just going to give the custard a totally different flavor, and I'll whisk this until it's all combined. While the bread puddings bake, I'm going to make a really rich and decadent whiskey cream sauce, and I'll serve it on the side when I get to the building. It goes over both the bread puddings. It's out of this world. The second custard goes over the soft challah bread. Oh, gosh. You know, I'm not sure what camp I fall in when it comes to bread pudding. It's really nice when the bread holds its shape and is kind of firm like the sourdough. It gets a nice crust on the outside, but I love mushy bread pudding too. All righty, that's great. Now to set the second bread pudding apart even more, I'm going to sprinkle on some dried cherries. Golden raisins would be great. Any dried fruit works. And some finely chopped pecans, just to make sure the girls know these are two completely separate desserts. Now I'm going to get these bad boys in the oven. They're going to bake at 325 degrees for an hour. Like my mom always said, bread pudding is always a good idea. Up next, whiskey cream sauce completes the lineup for the Mercantile Taste Test. There's a panel of judges, culinary critiquing, and winners to declare in the Mercantile Menu Contest. For recipes from this episode, go to foodnetwork.com/pioneerwoman. I'm headed to town to meet with my buddies. We're going to talk about the Mercantile that we're opening soon. I thought it would be a perfect opportunity to test some recipes for the Mercantile restaurant. They're in the back, and let me recap what I've got. 2 quiches, one with brie and broccoli, the other with corned beef and cabbage. 2 chicken salads, one is my basic recipe, the other one has curry and raisins, really good. And finally, 2 bread puddings. One is plain and perfect, and one is fancy and boozy. To go with both bread puddings, I made a really scrumptious whiskey cream sauce. I just put sugar into a pan with a stick of butter, some heavy cream, and a big glug of whiskey. Then I turned the heat to low and brought it to a slow boil, stirring constantly. After that, I turned off the heat and let it cool, then packed it into individual containers. It's going to be so much fun, and it's going to be so tasty. Sit down. Welcome to the testing table. Wow. I want you to really dig in and have fun, but I want you to be extremely methodical about it, too. This is serious. I've got 2 different chicken salads. Basic chicken salad. This is good.
I love the grapes in it, too.
All right, curried chicken salad. Okay, here we go.
I like the curry one a lot.
Does it have a little bit of red pepper? It's got some sriracha. 2 different quiches, brie and broccoli.
And what is this on the top? The brie?
Yeah, chunks of brie. They kind of settled everywhere.
That is amazing.
I love the grilled onions.
All right, so corned beef and cabbage.
Really? Gosh, that is delicious.
I like that.
So on the bread pudding, girls, this is whiskey cream sauce, and I require that you generously drizzle it over both. The first one is plain and perfect.
I like it a lot.
This is actually outstanding.
So for the second bread pudding, I used challah bread. It's just softer and more eggy, and I added a bunch of whiskey to the custard.
This one really packs a punch.
Really good.
You can lick your ramekins now if you want. Okay, girls, are we ready to vote?
Stick a fork in it.
Oh, that's a great idea, Missy. Okay, chicken salad, 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's 4 votes for the curried chicken salad and 1 for the basic version. Are we ready to vote on the quiche? 1, 2, 3.
Oh, we have some differences.
1, 2, 3, brie and broccoli quiche, and 2 corned beef and cabbage. Now, the bread pudding. 1, 2, 3, vote. Oh! Hyacinth! I thought for sure this would be unanimous. So 4 votes for the fancy bread pudding and 1 solitary vote for the plain and perfect version. Well, thank you, girls. What a fun test.
Definitely my favorite meeting so far.
Yes. Sign us up for weekly meeting 3.
You got it.